Okay, hello everybody and welcome to our webinar. It's noon and we're going to start right now. So let me introduce myself and then I'll introduce my co-presenters today. I was in the military, actually I was in the British Royal Navy for over 20 years, and after the Navy I transitioned into higher education, and I've been at Regent now for over 20 years as well. So do the math, that makes me pretty ancient, but I'm still well and happy and enjoying helping other people transition from the military into a second career. Having done it myself, I can remember even today that it's not easy. The transition into civilian life is not always as smooth as people might think it is. And so we hope that by sharing our experiences with you, that you'll find it helpful. So what I'd like to do, first of all, is introduce my two presenters, co-presenters, and then I'll ask one of them to share their story. So with me today, I'm a professor at Regent University, where I direct the Career Switcher program. My colleague, John Cordero, is the Associate Director of the Military Resource Center at Regent, and he'll tell you exactly what that means shortly. And my other presenter is another John Pienkowski. John teaches middle school in Virginia Beach, and prior to that, he was in the US Navy. So without further ado, let me ask John Cordero to tell you his story, and here he comes.
Thank you, Dr. Wighting. Again, my name is John Cordero. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I spent about 30 years on active duty in the Marine Corps. After retiring from the Marine Corps in 2016, I decided to come to Regent to pursue a master's degree, and I've been here since then, working in some form or fashion in the Military Resource Center. I found out about Regent through church, and I figured it was a great place to come to get an education. As Dr. Wighting said, I currently serve as the Associate Director of Military Affairs. What that means in a nutshell is that my team and I, we focus on serving our military-connected students from admissions all the way through graduation and employment. And one of the things that I also have the pleasure of doing is reaching out to high school students who are interested in pursuing a commission in the Navy or the Army, and helping them fulfill the objective of actually getting a bachelor's degree and commissioning as a Army or naval officer. And Regent has several scholarships that it awards for a pathway to commission as a naval officer. We call that the Naval ROTC Preparatory Program. So I work closely with those students, midshipman candidates, to help them get through the preparatory year. And
I just said, which was John Cordero was just explaining that he is the Associate Director of the Military Resource Center at Regent, and I run the Career Switcher program at Regent. And so for those of you who've just joined, welcome aboard, and you're just in time to hear our third presenter today, John Pienkowski, who teaches in a middle school in Virginia Beach. And here's John.
All right, thank you, Dr. Wighting. Appreciate it. Yeah, my name is John Pienkowski. I did 20 years in the Navy as a surface warfare officer, nuclear qualified, so I was on regular ships and also aircraft carriers. And then after I retired in 2015, I immediately jumped into the Career Switcher program, which I found out from a friend who was attending Regent through the religious studies program. And I worked with the military affairs program was fantastic on helping me transition from the military and then using my GI Bill at Regent University, and then so going through the Career Switcher program, the two parts, first year and second year, I got hired in the City of Virginia Beach public school system, and I've been at Brandon Middle School. I started off in science, doing science, 7th grade and 8th grade science. And then for the last 3 years now, I've been doing technology education, which is just a mix of lots of things: computers, coding, hands-on projects, robotics, everything STEM. And so it's been a rewarding program. And so I've been 8 years here now at Brandon Middle School doing, between science and technology education.
Thanks, John. Well, as you heard, John went through the switcher program a few years ago. So here's a memory test, John. Can you remember how the program is structured and what we put you through and how that was for you back then?
It was a very smooth transition, and like I said, the VA, the Veterans Affairs Military Coordination office, is what really helped me just sail through from transitioning from military and then working at Regent. It was my first time using the GI Bill, so I didn't really know how to do that, and they walked me through it, helped me every step of the way. Anytime I had any questions, they were right on top of it. And like I said, it was just a phenomenal experience working with the Veterans Affairs and Military Coordinator office at Regent University. And so doing part one is coursework, mostly online. There was some, and then just some live seminars that we did in person, and those were great as well. Really beneficial to be face to face with some people too. And during that part one, which is 1 year, one academic year, I was substituting in the city of Virginia Beach public school system. But I know other people, you can substitute in whatever school system you want, or multiple school systems depending in the area. And I felt that substituting was really good to do that at the same time as part one, because it kind of helps you practice some of the things that you're learning in the classroom, and then bringing those back and forth. And it also gets your name, kind of name recognition out there in the school system, where you can leave a business card after you're done subbing, and you can see the different types of schools, what levels maybe you want to, eventually teach at, and try those out through that. And so, and part one, like I said, was really good. I mean, between the professors helping you with all the the papers, and having discussions, online discussions, and postings and everything like that, really felt connected with the other students. Haha, there we go. Sorry, my sensor just goes out. There we go. I didn't move enough. And then part two, then briefly, is then the second year after you finish part one successfully. Second year is you have to get hired into the schools in a school system. And then while you're hired in your first year, you're also doing like keeping a portfolio then through part two, online, and having discussions. And you're also assigned a mentor as well that comes in and helps you observe you, and then give you positive feedback and everything like that. Oh, and also I forgot about part one is the practicum assignments as well too. You have to do, I want to say it was 25 hours of, or maybe 30 of student teaching. And what I would recommend, and what I did, is I tried it at every level. I didn't do elementary school because I knew that wasn't going to be for me, but I tried it at the middle school level and also the high school level. I did, half my time in the middle school and half my time in the high school level. And that really just helped kind of broaden my experience, and help me, steer my course there, adjust my course as to, what maybe level that I would be looking at to ultimately get hired in. And that was, like I said, during part one.
Thanks, John. You mentioned that the program was mostly online when you went through it. I suspect that you had to come into university maybe on Saturdays to do some group work. Well, we found that the students, like you were, preferred to do everything online. And so we hummed and hawed about that a little bit, because there are benefits to having everybody come down together to be in the on campus in the university. But then guess what happened? While we were humming and hawing, a thing called COVID came along, and so we were forced to, that forced our hand, and so we did everything online, and so we've continued that. So the instructors in part one have the same sort of group meetings that you had with your class colleagues, which are very beneficial for everybody. But they do that on using the same medium as we are today, using a Zoom, and it works very well. So the whole of the program is now absolutely totally online, and that's how it should be. I mean, today's learners want to use technology. Today's learners don't necessarily want to sit in a classroom in a small chair and as if they were back in grade school themselves. So I think it's very it's just a great step forward that we can offer the program fully online to everybody. John, did you do the master's degree at Regent, or did you not? What's your story there?
Oh, I had gotten my master's degree in space systems operations through the Navy at the Naval Postgraduate School. It was offered, and it was a very it was an excellent program. As you're doing your part one, by doing a couple extra courses after you do part one, or maybe it was even after part two, I'm not sure. I know you definitely had to finish part one. Doing some extra online courses or whatever, you could earn your master's in education. Since I already had my master's and I was already getting paid, once I got hired, I was already getting paid at an extra bump because I had a master's. I just did not choose to do master's in education, but I know it was a good program and it was available, and it was, again, a relatively smooth transition to do career switcher right into the master's of education.
Right. Thank you. We have a very good statistic, a percentage. About 98% of our career switchers end up with the master's degree, mostly the Master of Education degree, unlike yourself, John. But we've designed the program so that all the courses are credit bearing. And so at the end of the program, by that I mean having completed level 1 and level 2, all that is required to get a master's degree are 2 more courses, and they're priced at a ridiculously low price. And so it's the easiest and least expensive way of getting a master's degree that I've ever heard of. So we strongly encourage everybody to do it. Some people just don't want to, and that's their choice, but we give everybody the option. And like I said, about 98% end up with a master's degree. Now, I'm not really qualified to talk about money. They don't let me talk about money, which is just fine by me. And so I'm going to ask John, the other John, can you talk about what financial incentives and benefits are available to people who are transitioning from the military and want to become teachers and want to come to Regent, please?
Sure. Well, the career switcher itself is already significantly reduced. Well, let's say someone wanted to pursue just straight go to the master's degree. If they're on active duty, they automatically their tuition is reduced to $250 per credit hour, which is a great deal. If they aren't on active duty, then their tuition is reduced by 25%. However, if they're using the GI Bill, that typically will cover all tuition and fees if they have 100% of that benefit. But there are generous discounts that Regent offers for those who want to pursue any master's degree here.
Yes, thank you. Interestingly, I can't recall anybody who comes into our program from the military saying, you know what, I'm going to have to slow down taking these courses because I can't afford the tuition for the next semester. It's never happened. So whatever magic you perform over there, John, in the military resource center, you're doing a great job, and keep it going. We get several people come into our program who've been referred to us from the Troops to Teachers organization. We have a good working relationship with them. They're based in the College of William and Mary in Williamsburg. And so if you are still in the military and you want to ask them, the Troops to Teachers people, for assistance before you come here, then please do. They're very supportive and very good friends of ours. So I strongly encourage you to do that.
Yeah, and for active duty service members, I highly recommend, if they know they want to teach, they want to come to Regent, to use tuition assistance to help pay for their master's degree. So, and for veterans and even service members, there is that stipend that Regent is providing. That there's a limited number, but that offers $2,500 toward their education as well.
Yes, absolutely. I think we've only just received that stipend. I think already we've given substantial payments to 3 people so far, and so sign up quickly, and you can get those payments as well. Not trying to blackmail you, just saying that the money's there, and we love to give it away to you. what we haven't mentioned so far, we mentioned that John Pienkowski works in a middle school. We also prepare teachers for elementary schools and for high schools and independent schools. In fact, any school you name it, we prepare teachers for it. And interestingly, and not just interestingly, but significantly, we're the only provider of the program for the Department of Education that prepares people for all three levels. None of the other providers prepare people to move into an elementary school. So if you're thinking about becoming a teacher in an elementary school, come to Regent. If you're thinking about being a teacher in a middle school or high school, come to Regent as well. But Regent's the only place where we can help you get into an elementary school. Also, while I've got my sort of bragging hat on, Regent is the only provider that offers that master's degree option that I told you about, we shared with you just now. And lastly, Regent is the only program that provides the switcher program fully online. The others have its and bits that are done via technology, but ours is completely online, and theirs is not. So if you want to be an online learner, come to Regent. If you want to teach in an elementary school or a middle school or a high school, come to Regent. If you want to get a master's degree as well as a teaching license, you get it, come to Regent. So that's the little bragging part over, but it's very important because, like I said right at the beginning, leaving the military and trying to work out what you're going to do in civilian life is not easy. And so the more information you can have at your fingertips before making decisions, I think the better. So the purpose of our webinar today is to help you prepare yourself to leave the military and transition into teaching. John, would you like to elaborate a little on how that transition was for you? I don't think anybody can say it was dead easy. It was more smooth for some people than for others, I'm sure. So how did that work out for you, John Pienkowski, please?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the transition, like I said, it was through the Veteran Military Resource Center is what really helped. I mean, that was my first entry point or first contact, when I just was looking into doing the career switcher program. I had looked into Troops to Teacher, and I had taken I think there was a seminar too, and that was a very valuable program as part of the transition assistance program, as for retirement and everything like that. But after that, then that's when I learned about the career switcher program. And like I said, the Veterans or Military Resource Center is what really helped me connect and get me started and get everything filled out and payments done. And like I said, I was using the GI Bill. I also benefited from the discounts, military discounts for veterans and everything like that. And then just going through, like I said, with the professors and everything like that, it was just a fantastic program where the online discussions and just in working with other, collaborating with other students, online, and and like I said before, there was some in-person piece of it too, but mostly it was online. All just went very well. Did I answer that question? I think, or I felt like I repeated myself a little bit there. But
yeah, let me share with the audience that John, before he left the Navy, he was the captain of a rather large warship, and so everybody on board that ship treated him with the utmost and absolute unswerving respect, of course. Then you ended up in a middle school, John, where it's not always like that, right? So
right.
how did you cope the first time when you asked middle school children to do something and they said, nope, don't want to? How did you
Right. The military was definitely easier. I could say that. Dealing with middle school, and again, you have to be in that mindset. Depending on like some people, like I've talked to teachers at all levels, and me personally, I could not do elementary school. I have a lot of respect for elementary school teachers, and they look at me and they're like, "You're, how do you do what you do?" So for me, that transition, what helped me, I'll put in a plug for it, was the Boy Scouts of America. But both my sons were in the program. I was an assistant scoutmaster and then a scoutmaster. So working with that group of young men at the time, middle school and high school level, I kind of felt like that was where I felt like there was a need there. And then of just, working with young men and life skill issues and everything that goes along with it translates exactly to, what, teaching is about. And in the classroom, you have to use the same skills of just learning how, in the military, you could just, tell someone once and they should get it, right? Or you can even start yelling if you want to, or get someone else to yell at, whatever. But you can't do that in the middle school setting. So you have to really learn the skill of, calm and, treating everything with kindness. And it's hard. It was very hard, especially like the first 2 years where you want to amp up right away and you find yourself in a power struggle. And I felt, I fell into some of that power struggles too. And I've learned skills now to cope with. It's not about a power struggle. It's about just building that relationship so that you can, have a calm discussion about, what needs to be done. And, but then there's also times where you have to have discipline and there's going to be consequences for their actions. And, and as long as you just approach it that way, that, hey, everything, there's positive consequences and there's negative consequences, and it's, your choice. And so just dealing with learning those skills, which a lot of that is, it's taught, but until you actually experience it in the classroom, and then, is where you really kind of develop yourself. But you definitely have to have the mindset of being able to work with children, young people, and dealing with, they're dealing with a lot of life issues that I never had to experience when I was their age. And so just having that, again, having that kind of in your head the whole time, like, okay, where is this child coming from, background or whatever issues they dealt with that morning, even, in their life or at home or something like that, could be brought into the school. And so you just have to be able to, kind of like, once you build that relationship, realize what is it that child needs and kind of meet them where they're at, to deal with that. So having a mentor too, which Regent University, I thought, does a fantastic job of providing that mentor, that the second year in part 2, coming into the classroom and just, and talking to me, not to criticize, but to build me up, like, hey, this went well, this is what I saw that, maybe you could do a little better. Have you tried thinking about this, maybe to deal with that one problem child, or that, that group of, kids that were kind of really talkative or whatever like that, try some of these strategies. And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. So, and I know Dr. Wighting, you too, mentored me throughout all that process too. So, it was just having the mentorship also is a great aspect of the program to help in the classroom.
Yeah, thank you. John, just very briefly, put your bragging hat on. Somebody told me you got some sort of award for being a teacher. Would you like to address that?
Yeah. Yes. Dr. Wighting had told me about this program, a national alternate, oh my gosh, the National Alternative Certification Program for new educators. In their 1 to 3 year new teachers. I put in the application. I had to get my principal to sign on it, and I became one of the finalists. And they sent in a crew to film me in the classroom and everything like that. And that became part of my package that went off to the national review. And I won as one of the national finalists. There were several, but I won as one of them. The Bill Smith Award, and it got me a trip to Las Vegas to be a short presenter, and then be among other people that were at the top of their game, and a lot of them were principals and administrators and other teachers and everything like that doing that. So it was a fantastic journey, and again, I appreciate just the opportunity to be invited to the dance, and then all the way through got it all the way through with that package. So that was exciting times. That was 2018.
So was that national, as in the whole of the United States?
Yes. I was competing against people all over the country. New educators.
Great job. Congratulations, sir. So now in our audience, there might be people who think, and they can read the notice behind my head that says Regent University, and they might say, never heard of it. So what they will do, of course, is what we all do these days. We pick up a phone and Google Regent University, and up it comes Regent University, Christian Leadership to Change the World, because that's what this university is all about. And they might say, well, I don't plan to teach in a Christian school. I want to teach in a regular public school. And so in our remaining few minutes, I'd just like to talk about that, address that for you. And John Cordero, do you get that question? Are you asked that sort of thing in your job as the Associate Director of the Military Resource Center in Regent?
For veterans and active duty service members, I usually don't. However, in visiting different schools, high schools for education fairs, sometimes parents do ask that question.
How do you respond? What do you say?
Yeah, well, I do tell them how we integrate faith and learning. A lot of times people don't understand what a Christian is in this culture today. And so I tell them that you don't have to be a Christian to come to Regent University, but every course that is taught from a biblical worldview. And if they're okay with that, they're certainly welcome to come to Regent University.
Yeah, absolutely. So remember earlier I said about 98% of our people end up with a master's degree. Well, because I'm not very good at remembering numbers, conveniently, it's the same figure. 98% of our alumni teach in public schools. They don't teach in independent Christian schools per se. They teach in regular public schools all over the Commonwealth of Virginia. And during the time that I've been in this program, quite a while, I've only had two who got into trouble for wanting to be overtly religious in the classroom, despite the fact that instructors in the program, as John Pienkowski will remember, explained to everybody coming through the program that they are not going out to teach religion, they're going out to teach the subject that they've been hired to teach. Now, does that mean to say they cannot be Christian-like in the classroom? Absolutely not. I want them to be Christian-like in the classroom. And if you look in a Bible and or Google the fruits of the Spirit, you'll find that things like kindness, patience, gentleness are amongst the list of the fruits of the Spirit. And as John Pienkowski will vouch, you have to be patient to teach in a middle school, and you have to be fairly kind too. So all those values hold good. And quite honestly, if you think about your service in the Navy or the Army or the Air Force or the Coast Guard or whatever branch of the military you've been serving in right now, those fruits are part and parcel of how you operate every day. You don't operate in an unkind way. You don't operate in an uncaring way. You operate as a team, dealing with people on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour, minute-to-minute basis the whole year round. And it's exactly the same when you're in civilian life, dealing with your colleagues, the administration, your fellow teachers, and the children in the schools. Love and kindness and patience all come into the picture. So coming to a Christian university is going to be absolutely what you want to do, and I hope you all do. So I'm going to say thank you very much for watching and listening to our webinar. Just suffice to say, if you want to become a teacher, come to Regent, and the way to get that ball rolling is to look at the website, go to Regent, look up Career Switcher, and then you follow all that's information that's there, and it will end up by saying, please contact admissions@regent.edu to get the ball started. So thank you very much. And